It's 11:47 p.m., and you're staring at the ceiling again. You told yourself you wouldn't think about the bills tonight. You told yourself that 3 hours ago. And yet here you are, wide awake, running the numbers in your head for the 4th time, as if repeating them will somehow make them smaller. That's not insomnia. That's a request being placed. And tonight, I'm going to show you how to place a different one. If you've ever lain awake doing math you didn't ask to do, hit subscribe before you keep watching, because what happens in the next few minutes is going to change what you do the moment your head hits the pillow tonight. Stay until the end, because the second half of this video is the part almost nobody gets right. And it's the part that actually works. Here's what nobody tells you about nighttime. The hour before sleep is not neutral. It is not just the end of a tiring day. It is the most unguarded, most absorbent window your mind opens all day. And whatever you feed it in that window gets carried somewhere you can't consciously reach. Somewhere that keeps working on it long after you've stopped thinking about it on purpose. Most people feed that window fear, and then they wonder why the next morning feels exactly like the night before. So let me ask you something before we go further. What is the last thing you usually think about before you fall asleep? Not what you wish it was, what it actually is. For most people, it's the thing that scared them that day, the message they haven't answered, the number that didn't add up, the worry they were too busy to have in daylight, so it waits for them at midnight instead. That worry isn't harmless. It isn't just anxiety. It is instruction, delivered at the exact hour your mind is least offended and most willing to obey. There's an old teaching, quieter than most, that almost nobody talks about anymore. The idea that the hour before sleep functions less like rest and more like a doorway. Ancient wisdom traditions across cultures treated the last waking thought as sacred for a reason. Not because they understood neuroscience, but because they noticed the pattern long before anyone had a word for it. What a person carried into sleep, they somehow carried back out of it, dressed differently, arriving as circumstance instead of thought. You don't have to take that on faith. Just notice your own life. Notice how the days that follow a night of dread tend to feel heavier before anything has even happened. Notice how a night that ends in genuine peace tends to open into a morning that moves easier, even when nothing on paper has changed. That's not coincidence. That's the doorway doing exactly what it always does. So here's the first thing I need you to sit with tonight. The problem was never that you're worried about money. Worry is human. The problem is where you're placing that worry, right at the threshold, right at the 1 hour of the day when your mind is most likely to file it as final instruction rather than passing thought. Now here's the question that actually matters. If the last thought of the day becomes the first shape of tomorrow, what have you been handing over, night after night, without even noticing you were handing over anything at all? Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Marion, because that's close enough to how she introduced herself. Marion ran a small tailoring shop that had been slower than usual for almost a year. Rent was due on the 1st, and by the 20th of every month, she'd already started dreading it. She told me her nights had a routine she never chose. Lie down, replay the numbers, feel her chest tighten, eventually fall asleep from sheer exhaustion rather than peace. She didn't get a windfall. She didn't get a rescue. What she got was smaller and stranger than that, and it started with one decision. She decided that instead of ending her day with the math, she would end it with a single sentence, spoken quietly, out loud, into the dark. Not a wish, a statement. She'd rest her hand flat against her chest and say, "Everything I need is already arranged. I sleep in peace, and I wake into provision." That was all. No elaborate ritual, no hour-long meditation. Just one sentence, spoken with her whole attention, right before her eyes closed. The first week, she said, it felt ridiculous. Her voice cracked on the word peace because she didn't feel any. But she kept the sentence exactly the same every night, because she understood something most people rush past. You don't change the doorway by changing the words every day. You change it by making one true sentence so familiar that it becomes the last thing your mind reaches for out of habit, the way it used to reach for dread. By the third week, something had shifted that had nothing to do with money yet. She was sleeping through the night. Then, in the fifth week, a former client she hadn't heard from in 2 years called about a wedding order large enough to cover 2 months of rent in a single job. Marian didn't chase that call. She didn't network her way into it. It arrived through a door she wasn't watching, while she was busy tending a different door entirely, the one at the edge of sleep. I'm not telling you that story so you'll feel inspired for an evening and forget it by Thursday. I'm telling you because it points to something almost nobody explains clearly, and this is the part I promised you. The reason the bedtime hour matters isn't mystical trivia. It's mechanical. During the day, your rational mind stands guard at the door, checking every thought against evidence, against logic, against the bank app. That's useful for most of life, but it also means that during the day, a spoken word of abundance gets immediately cross-examined by your own doubt before it can settle anywhere. Everything I need is provided meets an instant internal objection. Prove it. At night, that guard is off duty. The analytical mind is standing down, and what's left is far more literal, far more obedient, and far less interested in arguing with you. Whatever you hand it in that state, it doesn't debate. It simply gets to work rearranging your inner expectation to match it. And your inner expectation is the quiet architect behind almost every decision you'll make tomorrow. Who you'll call, what you'll notice, what opportunity you'll actually see instead of walk past. This is why counting your money problems right before sleep is so costly. You're not just feeling bad for a few minutes, you're handing your most literal, most obedient inner faculty a very specific set of instructions, and it will spend the whole night complying. And this is why one honest sentence of provision, spoken at that same hour, carries a weight completely out of proportion to how simple it sounds. It isn't competing with your logic anymore. It's speaking directly to the part of you that builds tomorrow while you're not watching. There's an old line that fits here better than people realize. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength, not in striving, not in staying up refreshing your account balance at midnight. In quietness. That's not poetic decoration. That's a description of exactly which hour of the day carries the most weight. So let's make this practical, because a video that only inspires you and doesn't change your Tuesday night isn't worth your time. Tonight, before you touch your phone one last time, before you check anything, do this instead. Lie down. Place one hand flat against your chest so you can feel your own heartbeat, because a sentence spoken while you're actually present in your body lands differently than one recited on autopilot. Then speak, out loud if you can, quietly if you must. I release today. My needs are already met by a supply I cannot see yet. I sleep in peace, and I rise into provision. Say it a second time steadier. If your voice shakes, let it shake. That's not failure. That's just an old pattern loosening its grip on the way out. Do not follow it with checking your balance. Do not follow it with scrolling. Let it be the actual last sentence of your day. That's the part people skip, and it's the part that makes all the difference, not the words themselves, but the fact that nothing follows them to contradict them. In the morning, before your feet hit the floor, add one more sentence. Today, I will notice what's already arranged for me. That's it. You're not manifesting a fantasy. You're simply choosing, on purpose, which instruction gets to run the machinery that fear used to run for free. Do this for 7 nights in a row. Not because 7 is magic, but because 7 nights is roughly how long it takes a new sentence to start feeling more natural than the old one it's replacing. Somewhere around night 4 or 5, most people notice they fell asleep faster than usual, without meaning to track it. That's the doorway responding. Here is the piece I most want you to walk away with tonight. You were never failing at manifesting abundance because you didn't want it badly enough. You were handing your evenings to the wrong sentence at the 1 hour that mattered most, without ever being told that hour mattered at all. That's not a character flaw. That's simply a door nobody pointed out to you before now. You don't need to fix your whole day to change your life. You need to fix the last sentence of it. So tonight, when you lie down, you already know what to say. Not the old math, not the old dread. One honest sentence, spoken with your hand on your chest, given to the hour that was always listening. If this reached you, subscribe now, because next time I'm going to show you the one morning habit that decides whether that nighttime sentence actually holds or quietly gets erased before breakfast. You'll want to see that one before you try tonight's practice again tomorrow.